There is a confusion कि क्या divide करना है, क्या multiply करना है. To remove all of that confusion, I put that format up. Follow that format, there will be no confusion. That's all I have to say. I don't want to go into यहाँ पे divide करना है, यहाँ पे नहीं करना है. वो don't get into that. It will cause more confusion and you will make a mess in the actual exam. Follow the format blindly, you will not make a mistake. Okay? So let's go. What is interest? Fairly easy topic, very, very simple topic. So simple interest is basically the idea that when you put any money into simple interest schemes, only your principal earns interest. The interest doesn't earn interest. And basically you put in like say 1,000 rupees and say at 10%, say for 5 years, the simple interest would be the principal into the rate of interest into the number of years. So since it is 10%, I can say this is 10 by 100. So this will be equal to how much? This cancels this. So this is 100, this is 500 rupees. So if you put for 5 years 10%, that will give you 500 rupees. In general, simple interest formula is principal into rate of interest, that is rate is divided by 100 because that is percent rate into the time period. The important thing to remember over here is that if you have something like this, suppose you go to a bank and you like say invest 1,000 rupees and for 5 years and if they give you simple interest only, what is happening is that what would you do logically in this case? At the end of the year, you would withdraw all your money and then you deposit it all over again, so that your principal value will increase at the end of each year. That is where basically compound interest comes in, because what happens is that instead of having to go and do this every month, where you withdraw the balance, you deposit it again so that your principal increases, they told that I'll do it for you. So instead of having simple interest, they said that your principal will interest and even your accumulated interest will earn interest. So whatever you have earned till now, even that part will earn interest. So that is basically where we come in with compound interest. So compound interest, the formula is the total amount of compound interest after say n time periods is principal into 1 plus r by 100 raised to n, which is the number of time periods, and r is the rate per time period. Why do I say rate per time period? Suppose that the compounding frequency is per year, per annum. Then this will be the annual rate and this will be the number of years. Suppose the compounding frequency is per semi-annual, that is per 6 months. Then this rate would be basically the annual rate by 2 and the number of terms would be the number of years into 2. If it is say monthly would mean that you take the annual rate divided by 12 and the number of terms would be the number of years into 12. This is basically, you say that what is the per term rate. Term is basically the period of compounding. If it is per annum, then per annum rate. Per month, then per month rate. Per 6 months, per 6 months rate. That you raise to the number of terms that are there. Okay, this is the amount that is there, which is collected at the end of the entire period that is there. Now this is the overall amount, not just the interest. Amount is basically this, compound interest will be basically the amount minus the principal. Now this is fairly simple, I know most of you know this. So again, I don't have to do much over here for the simple interest, compound interest formulas. But I will tell two different things that a lot of people don't know that are required. That is difference between simple interest and compound interest. For the first year, what is the simple interest and what is the compound interest? If the rate is same for both, the simple interest is PR. The compound interest is also PR. So in the first year, if there is only 1 year of investment and it is per annum compounding, if there is only 1 year, the difference between them is 0. Because whatever is your compounding frequency, until that frequency term is met, there will be no difference, right? Only after the compounding frequency is met does your interest start earning, and then the difference starts creeping up. Now suppose if it is for 2 years, what is the difference between them? So for 2 years, this will be, the interest will be 2 PR, 2 years into P into R. R is basically the percentage rate of interest. So R percent is like, so if it is 10%, it would be 0.1 and so on. I am not keeping divide by 100 just for ease of writing. Okay, so what would be the compound interest in that case for 2 years? It would be P into 1 plus R the whole square. So if I expand, this is P into 1 plus 2r plus r square. If I remove p from this, for compound interest, I'll remove p. So I'll get this is 2pr plus pr square. So this, in this case, compound interest is 2pr plus pr square. So what is the difference between compound interest and simple interest in the second year? It is pr square. First year, zero difference. Second year, the difference between compound interest and simple interest for the same principal, for the same rate of interest is pr square. If I go on, I can keep doing this, okay? For cube, I'll say 1 plus 3pr plus 3pr square plus pr cube. So here the difference would be 3pr. This would be 3pr plus 3pr square plus pr cube. What would be the difference? This 3pr will cancel and I'll get the difference as 3pr square plus pr cube. Why is this important? This cube part will never come, but this difference pr square comes quite often. So they tell you directly that, okay, 2-year interest for simple interest is x. The difference between simple interest and compound interest is y. These two are generally given, and then you are asked, okay, what is the principal or what is the rate of interest? How do you find that? You take the ratio, PPV cancels, 1r cancels with other, then you get the rate of interest by taking the ratio of these. This is a simple thing, it comes very often and you should know this very well. The second thing is, last thing that comes, which is something that you need to know, is installments. What is installments? See, installments comes from the concept of time value of money. Okay, what is time value of money? Basically, if somebody tells you, ki, give me 10,000 rupees today and I'll give you back 10,000 rupees 5 years from now. I'll say that why should I give you 10,000 rupees today? If I go and put that 10,000 rupees in a FD bank deposit, I'll not get 10,000 5 years from now, I'll get more than that. My money has time value. The more I put it in a FD or something like that, it will keep accumulating interest. So whatever is 10,000 worth today is not worth 10,000 at the end of a period of time. So there is some time value of money. Time value of money means whatever is the rate of interest, if it is worth 10,000 today, and the rate of interest is say 10k or 10%, okay? So this same 10,000, if the rate of interest is 10k, then I will say that after 1 year, give me 10,000 into 1.1. So give me 11.1k. Otherwise, if you don't give me 11.1k, I would rather put it in the fixed deposit. 2 years from now, give me 1.21k. Why? Because it is 10% square, 1.1 square. So give me 1.21k, 12.1k. Instead of 10k giving me back 10k, give me 12.1k. Because after 2 years, the same 10k is now worth 12.1k. After 3 years, that would be 1.1 cube, that would be 13.31k, and so on. So basically, the 10k that is worth today is worth something else tomorrow, is worth something else tomorrow, is worth something else tomorrow. So this is the basic concept of time value of money, and from this we get the concept of installments. So installments basically mean that if I get, say, some money today and I have to give it back in a regular schedule. Suppose I give it back in installments of 3 installments, say A, B and C. Then I'll say that what is, and this is suppose the principal, what is the equation I can form for this? So this is year 1, year 2, year 3. So I want to compare values which are of 3 different time periods. I can't say P is A plus B plus C. Why? Because there is time period involved. So I will say that either I consider value of all of these today, or I will consider value of all of these on year 3. If the rate of interest is say 10%, what would be the value of P after year 3? After year 1 it would be 1.1p. After year 2 it is 1.21p. After year 3 it is 1.331p. So I will say at the end of year 3, this is 1.331p. That is basically p into 1.1 cube. This is the compounding rate of interest for 3 years. This has to be equal to the installments value. If somebody is paying me back in installments, the value of the installments has to be equal to the value of the initial loan. So this value has to be equal to the value of the installments. So what would be the value of installments? A is 2 years away from C. So A will also earn interest for 2 years. So I'll say this is A into 1.1 square. B is 1 year away from C. So B will also earn interest at 10%. So this is B into 1.1. C is at year 3. So C's value is C only. So this is plus C. So by using this equation, I can find out the value of A, B and C using this equation. Sometimes they will tell you they are A, B, C are equal. Then find the value of the installment. Sometimes they will say that the value of installments is in this particular ratio. Find the value of the installment. So this is basically what you have to do. Draw this equation, say the principal value is this. These are the installments. P's value on this date. A's value on this date. B's value on this date. C's value on this date. Equate P's value on the later date to value of each installment on the later date. Then you will get the final answer. Pretty simple, not difficult at all. Okay.